Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're tackling something, well, absolutely vital for everyone listening. How to actually repair the connections in our lives.
Yeah, it feels like there's a real crisis of connection happening.
Totally. So we're diving deep into how meaningful interactions are built. We've got some great sources to guide us, moving beyond just, basic niceties into the real stuff, the practical steps.
Exactly. And it's not just about saying, oh, loneliness is bad. This is about repair. It's an action plan.
Right. Not just retreating. We're aiming to give you a blueprint, essentially, a way to upgrade how you connect, moving from that awkward small talk,
Which we all dread sometimes.
right, towards something more genuine, real intimacy, maybe.
That's the goal. And we really need this now. Isolation, it's not just a bad mood.
No, it's like a system that feeds itself. The sources talk about this loneliness spiral. Can you unpack that a bit? What's happening, neurologically?
Well, it's this cycle, part psychological, part just behavior. Loneliness bums up our cortisol, the stress hormone. And when that's high all the time, your brain kind of flips into threat mode, always scanning.
So you become more suspicious.
Exactly. Hypervigilant. You distrust social cues more, which makes reaching out feel, riskier.
So the more you pull back.
The harder your brain finds it to believe it's actually safe to reconnect. It's a tough loop to break.
That makes so much sense of that feeling, being in a huge crowd, like Times Square or something.
Yeah, Union Square, anywhere packed.
And feeling completely alone. We're swimming in these digital interactions, right? Fragmented bits and pieces.
Zero emotional substance half the time. Proximity without presence.
Yeah.
And that leads us right into this AI paradox everyone's talking about.
AI companions, chatbots.
Right. They simulate emotional connection. They offer comfort, validation.
Seems like a quick fix, doesn't it?
It does. But the studies are showing something else. Heavy users. They actually report feeling more isolated over time.
Why? If it feels comforting.
Because it's missing a key ingredient. Reciprocity. Real connection needs that back and forth. A bit of emotional friction, almost.
Okay, so the AI gives warmth, but doesn't ask for anything back. No vulnerability.
Exactly. No challenge, no risk. Our nervous system gets tricked, think, okay, social need met. But because there's no real give and take.
No chance to actually, work through something difficult together.
Precisely. You miss the neurochemical reward that comes from navigating a real social interaction, bumps and all. So, yeah, you're comforted, maybe, but you're not truly connected.
And relying on that risk-free simulation just makes real people seem scarier.
It can, yeah. It widens the gap.
And the data, it backs this whole feeling up, doesn't it? That global flourishing study.
Yeah, huge study, hundreds of thousands of people. And the trend, especially for young adults, 18 to 29, it's worrying.
Their well-being scores, mental, emotional, social, they're just staying low, persistently low.
It's gone way past that old idea of, bowling alone. People aren't just doing activities separately anymore.
What is it now?
Now, it's more like they're not bowling at all. They've stopped showing up to the alley, so to speak.
Wow.
And the key insight from the sources, I think, is that we can't just shame ourselves into a digital detox. That's the usual reaction, right? Put down the phone.
Yeah, feels like blaming.
And it often doesn't stick. We need to be proactive. We need to consciously build new ways of connecting, new patterns.
Okay, so that's our mission for this deep dive then. We're unpacking the actual steps, the how.
Exactly. Starting today.
We'll look at those mental roadblocks that trip us up in conversations.
The 4 big ones.
And the core skills of active listening, which is way more than just nodding along.
Oh, yeah. It's deep cognitive work. 7 key techniques there.
And then that advanced skill, conversation threading. Sounds intriguing.
It's how you keep things flowing naturally.
And finally, we have to talk about vulnerability. It's a role in getting to that real, authentic connection we're all after.
Absolutely. Let's make this practical. Let's make it inspiring.
Okay, let's do it. Right, so before we build anything, we need to clear the ground. These conversational roadblocks, they happen, right? Worldviews clash, we get defensive.
It's totally human. That instinct to protect our beliefs kicks in. Spotting these barriers is the first step to finding, a detour.
Okay, so the sources identify 4 main ones. Defenses that just shut down connection.
That's right. They're classic patterns that lead to those arguments that go in circles or relationships that just never deepen.
Let's tackle the first one, language. Seems obvious we're all speaking the same language.
But that's the trap. We assume we understand each other. The sources really stress how complex words are.
How so?
Because we load them with personal meaning. based on our history, our emotions, our experiences. If I talk about needing freedom, what that feels like, what it means to me.
Could be totally different from my idea of freedom based on, I don't know, my job or my upbringing.
Exactly. So the breakthrough action here, it sounds simple, but it takes real discipline. Never assume shared meaning. Actively explore what the words mean to the other person. If they say they're feeling overwhelmed,
Don't just nod. Ask, like, what does overwhelmed feel like for you right now? Or what specifically is causing that feeling?
precisely. Clarify. Keep clarifying until you're both sure you're talking about the same thing, emotionally speaking. Build that shared vocabulary for this conversation.
Okay, makes sense. Barrier number 2, filters. We all have them, right? Like lenses we see through.
Absolutely. We filter everything through our biases, our preconceptions, sometimes really distorted images of the other person or the topic.
So if I've mentally labeled someone as like the unreliable one,
Then everything they say gets filtered through that label. You're setting the conversation up to fail before it starts because you're not seeing them.
so what's the action plan for dealing with filters, ours and theirs?
It's about creating chances for people to, well, step outside those boxes. To actually get to know each other as individuals beyond the labels.
How do you do that?
And also, maybe to explain their own filters about an issue. Like if you're talking about something sensitive, maybe politics.
Yeah.
Take a moment. Ask if they have a personal experience that shapes their view. Don't just jump to assuming it's, just their party line talking.
Acknowledge the distortion. Try to clarify it before it poisons the well.
Exactly. It takes time, but it prevents so much misunderstanding.
Okay. Barrier 3 sounds intense. Feelings.
Yeah, this one's biological, which makes it tricky. When strong emotions like anxiety or fear or even just frustration flare up, your brain releases chemicals, adrenaline, cortisol, and those chemicals literally short-circuit clear thinking. The rational part of the brain takes a back seat.
And that's when conversations just crash and burn.
Totally spiral. You say things you regret, you can't hear the other person.
So what's the countermeasure? The sources mention calmness being contagious. How does that work?
Mirror neurons. Our brains are wired to sync up, basically, like tuning forks. If you stay calm,
The other person's nervous system kind of picks up on that subconsciously.
it tries to match it, yeah. So the practical action is intentionally manage your own state. Keep calm.
How? Like, just tell yourself, be calm.
More like take a quiet, deep breath. Slow down how fast you're talking. Keep your eye contact steady, not aggressive.
So you're consciously regulating yourself.
And by doing that, you're creating a calmer space for them. It makes it easier for their brain to dial down the panic and reconnect with empathy. You're kind of lending them your calm.
Acting as their external regulator. Wow, okay. Final barrier. Defensiveness. Hitting that wall.
The ultimate shutdown. When someone feels attacked, they just close off, stop listening entirely.
And you see it how? Justifying themselves over and over.
Yeah, self-justification, denial, maybe projecting their feelings onto you, or that thing where they just talk at you, repeating their point, relentless,
Compulsive talking, yeah.
painful.
It feels like survival, right? Protecting core beliefs. So the advice sounds radical. Set aside your certainties.
It does sound hard. How do you just stop being certain?
It requires a big mental shift. You have to consciously set aside your need to be right, your own insecurities about being wrong,
So less focus on winning the point.
and more focus on opening your mind to actually being influenced by what they're saying. It's an act of intellectual humility.
Instead of having that internal argument running while they talk,
Ready to jump on the first flaw.
you try to just let their meaning flow in. The sources use that lovely phrase, water the seeds of flexibility and learning.
Yeah, beautiful, isn't it? Stop building the wall. Listen with your whole eyes, ears, and heart, as they put it.
It's really a cognitive exercise, isn't it? Prioritizing the connection over being right in that moment.
That's the core of it. Tough, but crucial.
Okay.
Okay, so we've navigated the roadblocks, or at least learned how to spot them. Now we build the foundation. And that's active listening.
Right, and active listening, as you said, it's way more than just like nodding and saying,
Oh, absolutely. It's a mindful, focused action. You're actively seeking the meaning and the intent behind their words.
It requires you to consciously decenter, they say. Step away from your own viewpoint.
Exactly. Prioritize their perspective for a moment. And when you do that successfully, the other person feels truly heard, validated.
And that feeling is what strengthens the bond.
Right.
Instantly.
It's the immediate payoff. So let's break down the 7 core techniques the sources highlight, starting with the internal stuff. Technique 1, be fully present.
Which sounds easy, but in today's world, It's a battle.
Totally. Information overload, constant distraction.
So being fully present means using all your senses, giving undivided attention.
Yes, and the practical steps are key. Physically put the phone away. Like, away, not just face down.
Okay. Ignore the dings and buzzes. Try not to daydream.
And here's the hardest part, I think, especially for smart, engaged people. Shut down your internal dialogue.
The conversation in your own head while they're talking.
Yeah. Planning your brilliant response, judging what they just said, thinking how it relates to your own story. You have to consciously silence that.
And just tune into their inner world. Make their story more important than yours, temporarily.
That's the discipline. It's about them, not you, in that moment.
Okay. Technique 2. Pay attention to nonverbal cues, the unspoken stuff.
Which is huge. Like up to 65% of communication, apparently. It's in the tempo, the posture.
Microexpressions. Yeah. So notice their speed. Fast talking might mean nervous, anxious.
Could be. Or excitement. Slow, careful speech, it might mean they're tired or choosing words very carefully and maybe feeling vulnerable. You look for clusters of cues.
And our own nonverbal sends signals too, right? About safety.
Hugely important. Use open body language. Don't fold your arms. That's a classic blocker.
Yeah.
Lean in just a little. Nodding at key points shows you're tracking.
And watch your face. A tiny frown or raised eyebrow
Could completely derail things. It signals judgment or disbelief, even if you don't mean it to.
Yeah.
Puts their defenses right back up. Mindfulness of your own reactions is key.
Makes sense. Technique 3 deals with something that can feel awkward. Keep good eye contact, but not too much.
Exactly. Eye contact says, I'm present, I'm listening. But yeah, too much feels weird, intrusive, like a stare down.
So the sources suggest the 50-70 rule. What's that?
It's a guideline. Maintain eye contact about 50% of the time when you're speaking.
Okay.
And about 70% of the time when you're listening.
70%, okay? And not just lock eyes.
No, hold it for maybe 4 or 5 seconds, then briefly glance away to a neutral spot. Not like you're scanning the room, then reconnect.
Keeps it feeling intentional, supportive, but not creepy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fulfills the social need for attention without triggering alarm bells.
Got it. Technique 4 is about driving the conversation forward. Ask open-ended questions.
Yes. Because closed questions, the ones you can answer with just yes or no or a single fact,
Yeah.
they're conversation killers.
Dead ends, signals you're not really curious.
Right. Open-ended questions invite longer, more thoughtful answers. They show genuine curiosity about their inner world, their thoughts, feelings, opinions.
So instead of, did you enjoy the conference, which is closed,
Ask, what was the most interesting thing you learned at the conference? Or how did you feel about the keynote speaker?
or if they talk about a difficult situation, maybe, how do you think you might handle that differently next time?
Perfect. It encourages reflection. It gets past the surface facts into the meaning for them.
Okay. Technique 5 sounds really powerful for showing empathy. Reflect what you hear. Paraphrasing.
Yes, but specifically paraphrasing or summarizing what you understood them to say in your own words. This does 2 crucial things.
What are they?
1, it validates their experience. Oh, they really heard me. 2, it minimizes misunderstanding. It forces a check. Did I get that right?
So the action is to summarize not just facts, but their feelings too.
Ideally, yes. Use phrases like, okay, so if I'm understanding correctly, you're feeling frustrated because, or, so it sounds like you're really excited about this opportunity because...
You're naming the emotion you heard, giving them a chance to say, yes, exactly, or, well, actually, it's more like...
Precisely. You might need to ask for clarification, sure, but try not to get bogged down in tiny details. Focus on the bigger emotional picture they're painting.
Right. Don't miss the forest for the trees. Technique 6 requires, well, a lot of self-control. Be patient.
Huge discipline, this one. Listening isn't just waiting for your turn to talk. It's about understanding.
So let them finish, even if you think you know what they're going to say.
Don't interrupt. Don't finish their sentences for them.
Ooh, that's a hard habit to break sometimes.
It is. And crucially, learn to be comfortable with silence.
Don't jump in to fill the pause.
No. Resist the urge. Silence isn't empty. It's sinking time. It's an invitation for them to maybe go a bit deeper or find the right words.
And if you jump in too fast or change the subject abruptly...
It sends a clear message, I'm not really interested or I'm impatient, kills the connection. Patience shows respect.
Okay. And the final technique, number 7, withhold judgment.
This is about creating emotional safety. If someone feels they might be criticized, shamed, or blamed, they simply won't open up.
So neutrality is key. But how do you stay neutral if you, like, really disagree with what they're saying?
Remember, empathy isn't agreement. It's understanding why they feel or think the way they do from their perspective.
Ah, okay. So you acknowledge their feeling without endorsing the viewpoint necessarily.
Exactly. And you have to actively practice recognizing your own judgmental thoughts when they pop up, because they will.
Yeah.
And just let them go. Don't voice them.
So if a friend is upset about something, maybe your job isn't to offer solutions or opinions right away.
Often, no. It's just to listen, to be that safe, non-judgmental space where they can process it aloud. That neutrality builds immense trust.
Wow. Okay. 7 techniques. That's a solid foundation.
Absolutely. Active listening builds that initial trust and understanding. But to keep the conversation going, to move past the basics into something richer, we need this next technique, conversation threading.
Conversation threading. Okay, sounds interesting. What's the core idea?
It's basically the natural way good conversations flow. You pick up on a small detail, an idea, a topic, a thread from what the other person just said, and you use that thread as a jumping off point for your next comment or question.
So it keeps the conversation connected, but lets you steer it a bit.
Exactly. It provides both continuity and flexibility. Keeps things from dying out or feeling like an interview.
Can you give an example? The sources mentioned one.
Yeah, the classic example is someone says, on Sunday, Jake and I saw the movie Moneyball. Simple sentence, right?
Okay.
But look at the threads.
Yeah.
You've got Sunday time, weekend activities, Jake, people, relationships, movies, the medium, entertainment, and Moneyball. The specific film, its themes like sports, data, at least 4 threads right there.
Ah, I see. So you could pull the movies thread and say,
You could relate it. Oh, movies. I just watched an old favorite this weekend. You share a tiny bit, connecting on the topic.
or pull the Moneyball thread.
And ask a question about it. Oh, Moneyball, how was it? I heard the book was great. Did the movie capture the stats side well?
So the thread you choose guides where the conversation goes next. You need to be listening for those threads, not just the main point.
That's the key. Active listening fuels good threading.
Okay, so how do we use threading to actually get deeper towards that authenticity?
That's where thread building by evoking emotion comes in. Use questions to introduce new threads, but specifically aim for questions that tap into feelings, opinions, stories, not just facts.
Get beyond the what and into the how it felt or what you think.
Precisely. So instead of asking someone, say a barista, is this a busy time for you? Which is factual.
You could pull a thread about the coffee or the morning rush and ask,
Something like, wow, you handle this rush so calmly. How does it feel being the person everyone relies on for their first smile of the day? You're asking about their experience, their feeling.
or if someone mentions their job, don't just ask, what does your company make?
Right. Ask them to teach you something interesting about it. What's one surprising thing about your field that most people don't know? People love sharing expertise. It prompts a much richer response.
Okay, evoking emotion. But what if the thread they offer is negative, like really negative?
Ah, good question. That's where you need strategic thread cutting.
Thread cutting, so changing the subject gracefully.
Sort of. The principle is, especially early on when you're building rapport, try to avoid going deep down negative rabbit holes.
Why is that?
Because we tend to associate the feeling of the conversation with the person. You want the initial interactions to feel positive, uplifting. Trivial negatives are fine, relatable even. Ugh, the subway was delayed again.
But not like a deep dive into everything wrong with the world.
Not right away, usually. So if someone says something quite negative, like, honestly, my job is soul-crushing, I absolutely hate it.
You don't just ignore it, but you don't wallow in it either.
Exactly. You acknowledge the feeling first. That's crucial validation.
Wow, that sounds really tough. I'm sorry you're dealing with that.
Okay, validation first. Then you gently pivot. Cut that negative thread and introduce a positive, maybe aspirational one. If you could wave a magic wand, what would your dream job look like instead? What kind of work gets you excited?
So you acknowledged the pain, but shifted the focus to something positive. Their dreams. Nice.
Keeps the overall emotional tone more constructive, especially early on.
Okay. What about when you want to go deeper on a topic, when they're opening up and you want to encourage that?
That's thread strengthening, using the 3 R's.
The 3 R's. Okay, what are they?
R1. Relate. Share a brief, relevant connection from your own experience.
Like, oh, that reminds me of a time when But keep it brief, right? Don't hijack their story.
Exactly. Just enough to show you, understand or connect. R2. Reinforce. Acknowledge something positive about what they shared or how they handled it.
Like, wow, that must have taken a lot of courage, or it sounds like you're really passionate about that.
Yes, reinforcing their strength or positive emotion. And R3, repeat or paraphrase. Just quickly summarize or reflect back what you heard them say, similar to active listening.
So it sounds like you found that experience really shaped your perspective on Check's understanding again.
Yes, and it shows you're still tracking closely, encouraging them to continue.
Relate, reinforce, repeat. Got it. But there's a balance, isn't there, about how much you share?
Absolutely crucial balance, especially early on. Share only about as much vulnerability or personal detail as they are sharing with you.
Match their level.
Yeah. Wait until mutual trust and comfort are really established before you dive deep into your own stuff.
Mm.
Thread strengthening is primarily about supporting their narrative, making them feel safe to continue.
Okay, that makes sense. Listening, threading, powerful tools.
Yeah.
So we have the tools, active listening, conversation threading. Now, how do we use them to really build that bridge to genuine connection, to authenticity?
This is where we move beyond just keeping the conversation going and start intentionally deepening it. It involves vulnerability.
Right. Small talk is fine for warming up, but it doesn't build deep bonds. The sources talk about using power questions.
Yeah, questions designed to move past the superficial quickly. But it takes a bit of courage, you know? You're signaling you want to go deeper.
And you have to be willing to answer them yourself. Right.
Yeah.
Reciprocity.
Absolutely non-negotiable. If you ask a deep question, be ready with your own honest answer.
So what are some examples of these power questions? The Glenn Taylor ones.
They focus on experience, values, dreams. Instead of just, what do you do? Ask, what's the most challenging part of your work? Or, what's the most rewarding part?
Gets at the why behind the what.
Okay. Or looking forward, what do you hope you'll be doing, say, 5 years from now? Or looking back, what's a favorite memory you made in the last year?
Those definitely invite more personal answers. What about things like passions or inspiration?
Great ones. What are you really passionate about outside of work? Or have you read or listened to anything lately that really inspired you?
These tell you so much about what someone values, what lights them up, even fun ones.
Totally.
Yeah.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why? Or what's one movie you could watch over and over again? They reveal personality in a low-stakes way.
I like that. There was also a really simple go-to starter question mentioned from Jessica Hunt.
Ah, yes, the recommendations question. So simple, so effective.
Just asking. Do you have any recommendations for good books, podcasts, or TV shows? I'm always looking for something new.
Why does that work so well? Several reasons.
Okay.
1, it's super versatile, works anywhere. 2, it gives them the floor, which feels good, validating. 3, it lets them share something personal outside their usual role.
Right. They're not just the boss or my neighbor. They're someone with personal tastes and interests.
Exactly. It opens a little window into their inner world, paving the way for more self-disclosure without feeling forced.
Okay. So these questions open the door. But the thing that walks through the door is vulnerability. We need to be clear on what that means. It gets thrown around a lot.
It really does. The sources define it quite specifically. It's about consciously choosing not to hold back your true feelings or experiences with someone you trust.
Letting them see your inner world, essentially. Even the messy bits.
Yeah, and stepping into the uncertainty, as Brené Brown puts it, taking that emotional risk. It's a conscious choice.
And the main way we show vulnerability is through self-disclosure, sharing personal stuff.
That's the primary tool, but, and this is critical, it has to be reciprocal, a two-way street.
So if I share something vulnerable and the other person just nods or changes the subject.
Trust isn't built. In fact, you probably feel kind of exposed, maybe even foolish. It needs to be a gradual bilateral exchange. You share a bit, they share a bit, matching the level of emotional risk.
Matching the risk. Okay. And interestingly, our ability to be vulnerable is tied to how we feel about ourselves, our self-worth.
The research is pretty clear on this. If you have low self-worth, if you deep down don't feel worthy of connection, you tend to be very calculated in what you share. You hold back.
Protect yourself from potential rejection.
Exactly, leading to lower emotional intimacy. But if you have higher self-efficacy, that belief in yourself, you're more likely to engage in those positive relationship acts, like being open, taking that risk.
Because you feel more secure that you can handle the outcome, maybe.
Possibly. You feel more worthy of receiving that connection.
Which brings us back to maybe the most important point about vulnerability, the requirement of safety.
Absolutely paramount. Vulnerability is powerful. It can deepen a connection like nothing else, but it can also break it if handled badly.
So you can only really be vulnerable if you trust the other person, trust their response.
You need to trust, or at least reasonably expect, that their response will be constructive, supportive, and non-judgmental.
Because if you share something really personal, a fear or a failure, and you're met with criticism or shame,
That's a significant relational injury. It shuts down future vulnerability, sometimes permanently. The trust is broken.
so the goal isn't just blurting out secrets. It's about having an open conversation about the feelings and experiences being shared.
Yes, focusing on the emotional exchange, which is why all of those active listening skills, especially non-judgment, are absolute prerequisites. You need to create the safety before the vulnerability can happen.
Build the container first. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, this has been incredibly insightful. We've covered the barriers, the core listening skills, how to keep conversations flowing with threading, and the importance of vulnerability. Now, let's pull it all together, the practical action plan.
Right. The what can I do today part.
Yeah.
We've broken it down into 3 main categories based on the source insights, things you can actually implement.
Fantastic. Category 1 is internal regulation. This is about managing ourselves first, right? Coming to interactions from a calmer place.
Exactly. It starts inside. Action 1, mindful pause.
So just pausing before reacting.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Especially when you feel triggered or you're in a conflict, take a breath. Create a tiny space between the thing that happened and your response. Ask yourself, what's my goal here? Is my response going to help the connection?
Buys you time to choose a better response rather than just reacting. Reduces conflict.
Builds trust over time, definitely. Action 2, self-awareness, digging into the why behind your feelings.
So before I say you made me angry, ask myself why I'm feeling angry.
Yes. Is it really what they did? Or am I projecting my own stuff? Maybe my insecurity, my past experiences. Understanding the root stops you from blaming them unfairly.
That's projection. Okay. Action 3, forgiveness practice. This sounds important for long-term connection.
Crucial for emotional cleanup. Don't let resentments just sit there and fester. Address unresolved issues calmly, constructively.
And accept that people make mistakes. Relationships aren't perfect.
Nobody's perfect. Practicing forgiveness, really letting go, signals that the relationship is strong enough to handle bumps. It clears the air.
Okay, internal regulation, pause, self-awareness, forgiveness. Got it. Category 2.
Building trust through micro interactions. This is about small, consistent actions. You don't need grand gestures all the time.
Small things add up, like action 4, practice microaffiliation. What does that mean?
Tiny positive signals of connection. The research shows these little things are incredibly powerful for building emotional safety.
So, like what?
A quick, genuine compliment as you pass someone. A 2-word text message just saying, thinking of you. Making a point to really pause and listen fully when someone starts talking to you, even for 30 seconds.
These small bids for connection reactivate those attachment circuits.
That's the idea. Consistency over intensity, often. Action 5. Express gratitude. Simple but effective.
Just saying thank you.
Yes. Or, I really appreciate that. It reinforces positive feelings, strengthens the bond. The sources even suggest shared gratitude journaling for couples or close relationships.
Like each week, write down a few things you appreciate about the other person or the relationship.
Yeah, forces you both to focus on the good stuff. Builds resilience.
Microaffiliation, gratitude. Nice. Okay, final category. Setting the conversation environment. We have some control over where and how we connect.
Absolutely. Action 6. Reclaim a third place.
A third place, like not home, not work.
Exactly. Sociologists talk about how important these informal public gathering spots are. Think coffee shops, parks, libraries, community centers, maybe a hobby group that meets regularly.
Why are they important?
They offer low-stakes, high-frequency social contact. You see familiar faces, have casual chats. It reduces the effort needed to initiate connection and combats loneliness naturally. It's community, not networking.
Find your local Cheers bar, basically. Okay, and the last one, action 7, co-regulation. This sounds interesting.
It taps into that mirror neuron thing again. Our nervous systems aren't really designed to calm down entirely on their own when stressed.
Yeah.
We regulate better together.
So co-regulation means?
Simply spending quiet time with someone, maybe a 10-minute walk together side by side, or just sitting in the same room comfortably without feeling the need to fill the silence.
No pressure to talk or fix anything?
None at all.
Yeah.
Just sharing physical presence in a calm state. It helps both nervous systems settle down, confirms safety and connection non-verbally. A powerful reset.
Wow. 7 concrete actions. mindful pause, self-awareness, forgiveness, micro-affiliation, gratitude, third place, co-regulation. That feels like a real toolkit.
It really is. So just to recap, we looked at that crisis of connection, those 4 barriers: language, filters, feelings, defensiveness that get in our way.
Then the 7 essential techniques for active listening, which is really about that deep cognitive focus on understanding.
Followed by conversation threading, how to keep things flowing naturally and meaningfully.
And finally, the crucial role of vulnerability, built on safety and reciprocity as the pathway to true authenticity.
And wrapped it all up with that 7-step action plan you could start using right away.
It's a lot, but it feels empowering. One thing to remember, though, is that this takes practice, right? It might feel awkward at first.
Oh, for sure. Don't get discouraged. And remember that thing psychologists call the liking gap.
What's that again?
We consistently, reliably underestimate how much other people like us and enjoy interacting with us, especially after first meeting them.
Really? So we're usually more like than we think.
Generally, yes. Most people are actually pro-social. They want to connect. We just need the skills and the courage to meet them halfway.
So what's the final thought here? The big takeaway?
I think it's that we simply weren't built for emotional isolation. Connection isn't some luxury item or a prize for the popular few.
It's a neurological necessity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And achieving it isn't magic. It's a conscious process. Daily practice, patience, willingness to be a little uncomfortable sometimes.
The real antidote to loneliness, then, isn't wishing it away. It's daring to try.
Having the courage to try for real connection. Making that eye contact, asking that genuine, open-ended question, taking that small emotional risk, sharing a little bit of yourself, doing it again tomorrow.
Thank you for diving deep with us today. This was incredibly valuable.
My pleasure. Great conversation.
We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.